pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, guest, we have John here, we got Andy Derby, and I'm taking a guess at Amy Brewer from Franklin County, Grand Isle Tobacco Prevention.
All of it, yep.
Yep, okay. All right, we'll get the visitors out of the way. John, do you have
Yes, I had a couple things.
Siri's talking to?
One thing is Carol Sullivan, who owns the Boy Block, she'd like to be able to put a dumpster on the street for 2-3 days at a time to clean out the building.
What's the void block? 'Cause
Where Tim's second time around was.
Okay.
Bullwright block.
Bullwright block.
Block, yes.
Okay. Yep. Should go clean it out?
Yes.
Okay.
She's got probably several dumpster loads. And this was from the attorney today on the case on Gilmet Road. And to me, this doesn't guarantee us any insurance that anything will be done there.
Okay.
So you want to probably take a minute to look at it.
Is there something that we have to vote on this for tonight, or is this something that we can review?
Well, yeah, you can review it. I have to contact him and see if we would agree to this, and
Okay.
I'm going to say no.
Does she have plans, design plans for digging up a pond and,
Oh, she's already done it from what I understand.
well, I'm sure she got a permit for that, huh?
No permit either, no.
We'll talk about that as well. Was this $500?
Oh, probably, yeah. I mean, this doesn't give us any assurance that it's going to be stop polluting or it's going to be cleaned up any, as far as I can see.
I think it needs to be some sort of water monitoring.
Yeah. And I think that after all this time, there needs to be some fine.
But I think that we've been through enough where we shouldn't be held liable for the cost of what's been brought to us. Any discussions?
I think this is not a very appropriate letter. It doesn't say anything. And all she's doing, like it says, is she's pushing back, continuing to push back.
Yeah.
She's been in violation of numerous zoning regulations.
So when it boils down to it, what do we want to do?
It doesn't fall under agricultural, it doesn't fall under anything else.
Correct.
I
And
think,
we can't stop her from taking animals in because it's not against the law.
Nope.
We can't make her clean up her own property unless it's junk and garbage, but as far as animals and cleaning feces off our
They have to
property.
contain the animals though,
They have to
and
contain
they
the
don't,
animals.
they're always in the road.
But is there a law anywhere about containing the runoff, is the question?
Absolutely.
Is there?
You can't endanger your
Is
adjacent
there a
properties.
legal law? That's what I'm saying. We all
Yeah,
know we
it's
shouldn't be
in the
right.
zoning
It's in our
regulations.
bylaws.
It's in our bylaws.
Yeah.
Okay, so then,
And we shouldn't waive the
Has she
legal
been-
fees just
right.
because she's disabled. I'm
Right.
sorry about that, but you shouldn't have made us spend $12,000 to,
So what I'm hearing is that she should be held responsible for
Yes.
legal fees.
yep.
yes,
And there should be some sort of water quality monitoring
yes.
involved with this.
And I think she needs to clean up some of that trash around there.
Yep, I agree too.
We've already brought her to court.
Well,
Have we already brought her to court and everything several
I haven't
times?
gone into court yet,
But
but
we've been after her for a while, so
Yes.
maybe that's the next step, is push us through to court
yes.
on all aspects.
Well, there's been hearings
Oh, yeah, there's been hearings, yeah.
already in the courts, yeah. And they can make a decision to get out of their own way.
Everyone agreed with that?
Yeah, we're gonna keep pushing, I don't wanna pay for it, the town people's gonna have to pay for any of that.
You feel the same way, Alan?
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
I mean, she's,
So that's the direction that I guess the board feels that we need to go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it?
That's it for tonight.
A number of things for him. You want me to go over it now or wait?
Is it on the agenda? Is
No.
my first question. Is it a last minute thing?
No.
Okay.
Well, you didn't ask for adjustments to the agenda. I could have given those to you.
I didn't realize you had extra items that should have been brought up.
Well, and we've been meeting, Michael and John and myself, about numerous issues within the town related to zoning and planning.
Mhm.
And I agree, just me, that it's become much more than a one-person job,
Okay.
okay, the amount of stuff that's happening. I'm not ready to act on anything until John gets back to me and says
So
what
this
he
is,
would like.
so this is just the heads up, basically?
Yeah,
Okay.
because,
Heads up and then budget time.
right, and, but a couple of things that,
Not to interrupt you, but that, just so you know, that's kind of why I'm here to talk about the water thing, but I'm also here to talk about that, so. I don't know if I can, you wanna wait till you're completely done with your stuff and then I can.
No,
talk?
you're a visitor too, if you can chime in and we're gonna tag team one topic.
Okay, well, I just didn't wanna butt in front of.
She had
That's okay.
You go ahead and
Amy's
button
right
for
after
me.
guests,
We're gonna
so-
talk
Okay,
about
yeah,
that
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, but continue.
I mean, one of the things that would help me is copying this board on any correspondence that goes out from your office.
Actually, I was gonna bring that up. It'd been helpful tonight to move the meeting process along, had we had this prior to review, instead of taking, 5 minutes to go through.
Well, I just got this today.
Okay, it was dated the 14th, that's why I,
Well, it came last week, but this was the first time I was in the office.
okay.
First time I've seen this was today.
Even if you got it in the morning or something, just forward it all to us, so. Not saying that we all get a chance to review
Read
it,
it, but at
but
least we
some
can have
of
a
us.
little
will.
heads up on it, yeah.
Yeah, but even, I mean, we were drilling down into individual cases
Yeah.
that continue to go on within the community. And we need to get a legal opinion if we can contact these people directly via telephone or pay them a visit or whatever.
If we should, I don't think we should, I think it should also
I
through
think
the
we
zoning.
should sidestep that and stay away from that and leave
Yeah,
that to the
we need
lawyers,
to
because
do
we don't,
protocol.
we could say one thing that would throw off the whole
Everything,
system.
and then if they record anything, we said something wrong or backwards or whatever, it happens to all of us.
And
They
the
can really
notification
mess up.
has to be through certified mail.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
One of,
That's
can I
fine.
butt in
Yeah,
for a second?
go ahead, Andy, you're.
Well, just talking about this whole thing, so, as you know, I'm on the zoning board, and, I feel like it's just, even when I was on the select board, like, everyone, was trying to get a handle on zoning and get it figured out, whatever. Well, I've been 4 years on the board, and I feel like now we have some pretty good people on the board, like you know, like, I feel happy about the people that are on there, because they're all people that you can tell want to make a difference. And we had a meeting last Tuesday, we talked about it for a while after the meeting and during the meeting, and it's like our hands are tied, and I don't know if the select board knows, but so I'm a board member. I legally, I mean, there's supposed to be 7 of us on there, plus John. So, I mean, we all would do more, or could do more, but legally, we can't, because we are, like, I can't get in my truck and ride around and come back to John and say, there's a zoning issue here, there's a zoning issue here, because if anything ever gets brought, you know, if that case ever gets brought to the table, we have to be the ones on the backside of the table to make a decision, is John right, or the town of Richford, or is that person right? You know, so it's contradicting. So I guess my point is, there's 7 of us on the board, but there's really only one person that can do the majority of the legwork, and John only worked 4 hours a week. I mean,
It's gonna change. It has.
it's totally impossible. I mean, we haven't even, we asked a question at the last meeting, what have we done in the last year that we were like, okay, that's done, we took care of it, it got finished, and we saw the people fix the problem, and it just doesn't happen. So we go to meetings, and all we're doing is talking in a circle. And it wastes my time, and all the other 6 people that are on the board, and John's time, because it feels like we're not getting anything done.
I think we briefly talked a while back, John,
About getting
about
them back.
getting more lawyers,
Yeah.
but more time, if not a second person, really.
Right, that's exactly what we talked about, and it's kind of backburnered, but it's really stacking up now. I mean, I could,
But this is the time right now, being budget.
To start planning for it.
Yes.
And that's why I came, because, and I told John that I was gonna come, and then to touch base on what you were talking about, like, should the select board get involved with some of the issues? Well, I can tell you what I think a lot of these people do, and they're repeat offenders. It's not, you can count them all on 15 people that are probably the ones that's over and over and over and over again. And one thing I thought of was, and it would have to be the select board to kind of back it, I guess, would be call them, say, hey, can you come in? Can we, because I mean, some of this stuff is as simple as an unregistered vehicle in their yard that's been in the yard for 2 years. Worse, I say John sending a letter 4 hours a week and is all he works.
Right, he needs more hours.
I mean, to write, you could write 50 letters a week, but then what we were saying is, when that letter gets to the person, they probably go just like that, and they throw it in the trash. So what I suggested was, if a sheriff knocked on the door, you know, we're paying them, they're here every week.
Yep.
I know they make an extra charge to deliver something, but if they're here on the clock working for us, they could come in like once a week and say, hey, do you got any letters that need to be delivered this week?
Yep.
If a sheriff goes and knocks on the door, and it's not necessarily, if it's an apartment building, they're not gonna bring it to the person at that apartment. They have to bring it to the person who owns that
Right.
land
Right.
and owns that property. And at that point, they're probably gonna say, well, I'm a little too proud to have a sheriff come into my house once a week to bring a letter to me. It may not work, but we were thinking, would it hurt to try it?
well, it's a good idea, in my opinion, but I think the status of our relationship with the sheriff right now is in a little bit of a question as to,
I think they've been doing pretty good. I've been in contact with them. I talked to Roger again today.
I understand.
They're coming back through. They're gonna redo the bill so it's actually understandable.
But my point is that they are doing a good job, and it's because they've been focused on different items.
Yes.
And if you start to pull them off of this, I would recommend that, and I still, to this day, do not understand what the constable's job description is.
Delivering papers, that's
So,
it.
We can arm him with any letters that are going out, and he can deliver them personally.
Yeah,
to these people.
I mean, what's the next step after that, though?
Well, if it's an official warning, it has to go through certified mail.
Right.
yeah,
But I think that first initial letter, you take the time, the town's paying John to sit in the office and type that letter up. You stick it in the mail, the people get it, they could care less. I can think of at least,
Oh, I agree with you, yeah.
I can think of 10 properties for 2 years
Yeah.
that we've sat at the table upstairs
Yep.
and we've talked about, and John says, well, I'll send him another letter. Well, I'll send him
It's
another letter.
No.
ineffective, that's why I was,
that's why we've been talking about it, it's supposed to be one letter, then it's supposed to be a letter from the town, and then it's supposed to be a certified letter, and then next is going to court. The lawyer.
originally, the way it was set up was, there was a friendly notification.
Right,
You
that
got-
was the
you
first
got-
letter
You
from
got
John.
issues in your property,
In
whatever,
the perfect world, that should be how you could take care of it.
but you don't, no one
It
pays
doesn't work
attention to it.
anymore.
Right.
If I sent you a letter, you would probably, you know, you're a good citizen, you'd say, ah, geez, I need to take care of this.
Yep.
You know, like, the town
No,
shouldn't have to
see-
send me a reminder letter that I got too many junk vehicles in my yard. But apparently, people
No,
just
I-
don't care.
Yeah, exactly, but there is a process, there's a
Yep.
friendly letter, the violation letter that goes certified mail,
Yep,
and
then the lawyer letter.
if they're unresponsive, then it goes through the legal channels,
To
and we go from there. I think we can make, and we talked about it last week some, that there needs to be some face-to-face contact, so they're not ripping up the letters, okay? That whether it's a constable representing the town, whether it's a sheriff representing the town, then I think more people will be compliant, not all of them,
No.
but more of them will
But it
be.
would help, especially and if the letter said in 30 days,
Mhm.
we're gonna come back.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
it has
if
to
it
be,
hasn't been taken care of in 30 days, the next step is,
Court.
it's gonna get turned into our attorney's hands, and you're gonna be responsible
Yeah.
for paying for the
Yeah.
attorney fees at environmental court if you can be proven guilty.
Cool.
And you, if you took the bylaws and you made a copy of the page where they were in violation and just highlighted it.
yeah, sure.
This is a legal law in this town that you live in, and you're violating that. Like, it's so black and white that if we go to court, the judge is gonna laugh, you know?
Right.
Cause I think these people just think, oh, they can't tell us that, we can't do that.
Right, it's my property, I can't
So
have
we
it.
have just been sending letters and that's been the practice?
Yeah, and it don't
Yes.
work.
It doesn't work. So yes, we do need to follow the procedures.
Well,
We've been
and
sending letters, and then we've been doing
that was
certified
the-
letters, and then it
that
goes
was
to the
the
lawyer.
second part of my original statement.
Okay,
The select board should be involved in enforcement of these violations. The zoning administrator works for us, the DRB is appointed by us, and we can have a controlling interest in it
Right.
to follow up, because I'm gonna bring up later a water and sewer thing that's been sitting out on the table there for 6 months. Or maybe 5 months, whatever, 4 months. Anyway, it's too long, okay? And I don't even think zoning was involved in it.
No, I haven't been
And-
involved in any water and
and-
sewer, no.
I just think there's a disconnect there, that we can provide a much better service to the DRB, we can provide a much better service to John, and when it comes from us, that gives them the ability to act. More so than right now, you go to meetings and you have a
Beat
cup
your
of
head
coffee
against the wall.
and have a cookie and, you
And
know.
it's wasting my time.
Of course it
Like,
is.
if I'm volunteering my
Yep.
time to be on the DRB board,
agree.
I wanna be able to come home from a meeting and say, there, we made a difference today.
Yep.
Right.
I've been 3 years of not making any difference.
Right.
And
Now, we've been backing John, whenever he brings something to him, we
Yeah,
tell him,
yeah,
go to the
yeah.
next step, go to the next level, go to the courts, go to the lawyer, have the lawyer put a letter out to him, and then go from there, if they don't apply with the lawyer, it goes to court. We have been saying that for the last
Yes, yes,
and that's the
Here?
mandate, that's, yeah,
That's
that's
what we've
what
been
we,
doing, but
that's
that's
what,
how we're backing
Yeah.
him to do that job, but yes, 4 hours a week is not enough time.
yeah, I mean, if you look
He
at a lot
needs
of
more time.
the other towns,
They got full-time.
It's about 20 and full-time.
20 and up for
Yeah.
sure. And I feel like the town for 10 years has neglected that position.
Yes, it has.
So now, the money that you could have spent in 10 years, we're gonna have to spend it all in 2 or 3 to make up for what
Yeah.
has fallen apart in the last 10. And, you know,
Well, there's some
it's easy to say send it to a lawyer, but that costs a lot of money, you know, and it's like, how many, I mean, on every one of these cases, if we can't figure out a process that works between us, it's free.
But if we're doing the right thing,
It has to be legal.
we can build back the legal fees
Yeah.
to the
Yes.
violator.
But you know they're not gonna pay you for
That
it.
the same,
You're gonna get a lien on their property.
Yeah, well-
So essentially, it's money in the
Yeah.
bank, but someone's gotta put that money up front.
but by doing that too, you demonstrate the first 2 or 3, the remainder might catch on and say, hey, I better do something, cause I'll get a.
They're the same letter kind of thing.
And there's a lot of, you know, we talked about this at our last meeting, there's a lot of, people who just don't get a permit.
Yep.
I told John,
That
I
was the
said,
next item on my list here.
I'm guilty, I've done it, but you always end up paying for it. When they come and they do your reappraisal or whatever, they say, oh, you got an addition, when did you put that on? And like 3 years ago, okay, well, you gotta get the permit. So we all do it, I think, you know, every one of us has probably done it, I know I have, but there's a lot of people who are still doing it, and there's never like there should be like a fine, like
That's
if you
what we
did something
talked
without
about.
a permit.
We just talked about that in
You not
planning.
only do you have to
Yeah.
pay the permit fee, but you're gonna be fined for doing it, because
Yes.
these people are doing stuff, and then we catch on to it 2 years later, and it's like, okay, well, they put that fence in the wrong spot. If they would've come and got a permit,
They
we
would've
could have
known that.
explained to them that your fence should have been here, or this should have been that
Yeah.
way. And then it's too late, you know, they're looking for the card that it's, you ask for, forgiveness
Yes.
instead of permission,
Do it
you know?
first, ask for
And it's
forgiveness
always
later.
been that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to write so many permits as a zoning administrator after the fact.
Yeah.
So, but
We
this
did talk
fine, this
about
fine
that.
So-
thing is
so
a
this-
is a
if
good
we-
idea.
if
Hold
we-
on,
We're fining.
if I could, this fine issue, and I think this board needs to determine what the fine should be. And in Franklin, they have a $500 fee if you make an improvement on the property without a permit, okay? And it's gotta be an amount like that, because no one's gonna take a notice of it.
Right,
If it's-
$50, people
you know,
are gonna say,
figure,
ah, whatever, it's
that's-
$55
okay, I can't get
per
a case
minute.
of beer this week, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, and
It was
if
a
we.
place just happened up on the Berry Road.
Okay.
And I wrote the people a letter, and they put in an application last week for it.
Okay.
But
After the fact.
after the fact,
Right.
so there's no extra fee, I'm gonna have to issue them the permit, and
And then it all falls back onto, okay, we're trying to crunch a bunch of hours for a zoning administrator, and you're doing follow-up work like that, they shouldn't even have to do. Those people should have came in here, gone to the front counter, got a permit, brought it home, filled it out,
Of course.
sent it in, he reviews it, yeah, the board may need to look at it, the board may not, he knows. But now, he's gotta send a letter to him, tell him, hey, you never filled out your permit.
Yeah.
It's like burning up valuable time where you could be working on something else that's way more important.
Well, I think initially, if you go into it strong with fines, with potential repercussions, whatever they might be, that a lot of the violators will respond to that. And they all won't, just like anything else in this town. Okay, but a lot of them will
I'm not sure
respond.
I understand.
And we can, you know, it's because I'm talking, she doesn't understand. It's, but
so
it's,
what I'm hearing is we need to increase the fee, well, make a fee for,
We've already worked on that.
yeah.
And it's gonna be sent to you guys as soon as we agree upon what we're doing for planning.
Okay.
but you guys have the final authority
Right,
Yeah.
and they'll
to
come
set
here
the fee,
and then-
yeah.
Yeah, it won't, I don't think it'll take much to sell us on,
No,
no, so.
no.
And I just think that you're gonna have, you got some really good people on your zoning board right now, and I can feel it, that those people aren't gonna be on there very long.
No, 'cause you get burnt out.
If,
Yeah.
well, if they're not feeling like we're doing
Yeah.
something worth our while, and in order to do something worth our while, you need to have, I think, a pretty good budget for that area. I mean, zoning is the face of this town. I mean, you ride around and you look at everything, I mean, you know, everyone wants to make the town look better. Well, it all starts
Yeah.
with zoning.
Yeah, you gotta enforce it.
If you got, you know, zoning violation after zoning violation on every street corner and every street, well, if all those weren't there,
It would look a lot better.
it would look a lot better. People would have, you know, start to have a little better outlook on the town, and it's not gonna happen overnight, I can promise you that. But there's gotta be some type of a backing from the select board to the DRB board, and then the DRB board can have the go-ahead to start putting a little pressure on these people, and, you know.
Yep, that's where we're at.
If you keep sending letters and they don't respond, I mean, right out of the gate, we're just beating our heads against the wall. You know, it's
Maybe
just a
have
simple
the
letter.
first letter hand delivered. And then have the second letter registered
Yeah.
legally, and then the next one comes from a lawyer. That's
Yeah.
3 tries in
And
this
then
court.
my other thing I was gonna suggest, or at least just throw out there, because when I was on the select board, we tried doing this and it just never got anywheres, but the town at that time had like two or three different attorneys, Alan. You would know better than me, but
I think we're down to 1 now, right?
just Manahan now.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so what I found was, it was very hard. You had one attorney who was working on everything for the town. Would it be more of a channel if you had an attorney that just worked on environmental, zoning, that type of stuff? And then just have a better channel between your zoning administrator and that attorney? Because maybe that attorney's just overwhelmed because he's working on everything for the whole town, where it could be narrowed down to a person who just works on environmental stuff. Because I felt like when I used to try to get answers on stuff, you just couldn't get an answer fast enough. And then by the time you got the answer for that thing, there was already 4 more issues that you're working on, and it was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong with that, John, maybe you can.
No, it's an idea. I think it's, I don't know, I think with staying with the existing firm, they have a better feel of what's happening in the town overall.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I
And-
like them. I help
And,
choose them for an attorney, but I don't know if they have a person there who just does the environmental
I
stuff.
don't know, we could ask, I mean, they give everything to, Kristen Shamus anyway.
Yeah.
She does a lot of the
Yeah,
zoning
she-
issues.
Yes,
She does all the
Christian
stuff,
does,
so.
yeah.
But anyway,
That was all I
Yeah.
had on the zoning thing.
excellent input, thank you.
Yeah.
And I believe that when the day I was there for the hearing on this, Brian also said he represents the town of Fairfax
Hmm,
Okay.
in zoning.
good to know.
All right. Did you have another topic?
Do you wanna just talk about my water and sewer thing quickly? I've already kinda filled in, him, but, so basically what I've come up with is, from talking with Jarvis, is really to get the ball rolling for him, I would've needed some type of a letter from the town saying that, there's a name for it, but basically saying, we're gonna allow you to hook up to the municipal water and sewer, and then he could take it from there and go. And I said, well, the town wants, they haven't even made a decision yet, they want a letter from you saying what you can do and whatever, so I talked it over with him, and I just feel like it's just too much to try to get a decision on all this, cause I kinda need to know at this point, and what I'm asking for is just a simple water sewer hookup, no gallonage or nothing extra, just a normal, like I was gonna build a house there, that's all I want. No commercial.
It's still a problem with doing the hookup, is that correct? Because we have to deliver the lines down there.
Yeah, that was my interpretation.
Right, which we knew that from the beginning, they need to be brought down the road and crossed over.
We were looking for the engineers, you know, basically what it was being used for. at that point,
And
so.
how big pipes we need,
Yeah,
that type of
yeah.
thing, to feed in and take out.
Well, no, I thought when I came to the meeting, what was asked for was how many gallons of water a day am I gonna put into the system?
Yeah.
That was what I was told,
Yeah, and
that I
that's-
need to have engineered.
That's a second concern, because if you have a household hookup, you're going to have significant other water from the sugaring process.
No, I'm not.
You're gonna run it off into the land.
I'm gonna do the same thing that every other sugar maker in the
Okay,
state does.
that's fine, because normally that would put the
Right,
sewerage way out of whack with the consumption.
exactly. And in order for him to design that, to even get started, they would need a letter of approval from the town. So I said, they don't wanna give me that because they want you to design, like, my engineer's not gonna design bringing the pipe across the road and all, like, what he would design is a tank, a pump station, like, that would be, once it came across the road onto my property, then it would be up to me to carry it from there to the building, and then design whatever goes on at my building.
Right.
But my usage would only be a single-family home, that's all I'm looking
Right,
for, I
because
don't
you're
want.
going out into the fields.
Yeah, because, well, Alan was talking about, an industrial rate, well, it's $7,000 a year, if I don't, you know, like, that's a lot of money
Sure it
to,
is.
just to pay for water and sewer, and,
So the next question is, how much does it cost to get the pipe across? And is it worth putting a residential for,
well, Daryl was supposed to find that out a year and a half ago, and we still don't have any answers on it.
Daryl's not with us, obviously, so.
Well, I understand that, but
So-
I came to him a year and a half
I
ago,
understand that.
and he told,
We
what
don't
he,
wanna stand in your way. I mean, we wanna make it happen for you, okay? But in order for us to make an intelligent decision, somebody's gotta put something in front of me that says,
it's gonna
this
cost
is what we
X amount of
want,
dollars.
this is what it's gonna cost, and maybe your engineer, you're using Jarvis, he said?
correct, but I'm not gonna engineer, I'm not gonna engineer
He can give you-
your pipeline that's in your right-of-way that comes to my property. The guy who does the water and sewer for the town of
Jeremy.
Richford should be able to say, you go down there with a 100-foot tape measure, you measure how many feet it is from where the last hookup is, you measure down the road, you get a price for that pipe and the price for the pipe across it, and then I will engineer what's on my property.
I think the biggest
Well-
concern was boring underneath the road is considered, was, you know, I heard some ridiculous figures, but finding someone to actually do it, and then the cost of it. Because I was told at one time up to $30,000,
No.
which, you know, I don't know.
It could be.
I don't know.
You get different state permits because it's going under the state highway and all of these things. I mean,
So Jeremy would
can
know
you
this,
dig a well
Jeremy
there?
could do it.
Jeremy's gonna have to look
I already
into
have,
it.
there's already an existing well there.
and it's not big enough to support your operations?
It probably is, but I will,
Comes under the food safety part.
exactly, that's what I'm trying to put a business there, that Sunday's gonna be under food safety, and if I can use municipal water, I don't have to.
It's easier, but it's not ultimately required.
Exactly,
I'd need to see,
but there's
You know,
nothing on my
are
end
you
that I
ready-
can show you.
I understand that,
Jeremy's
but
the one that has to do it.
When I first went to Daryl a year and a half ago, before I bought the property, I bought the property on his word saying, absolutely, we can do that. I said, do I need to go to a select board meeting? He says, no, I help him write the budget every year and we'll just budget that for next year. This was last year. So then, when January or March comes around, the new budget had passed, I went up and I saw him and he's like, whoa, well, things have changed, we gotta talk to the select board. I'm like, okay, well, what's changed? Cause you already told me
Yep.
that this wouldn't be a problem. So I go and spend all the money on the property, and here I am a year and a half later, and I still can't come up with an answer. And I just have a lot of things that I wanna do there,
Yep.
and I need to, at some point in time, have, you know, a decision. If the town doesn't, if the answer is no, the answer is no, then I'll go to plan B, but I mean, if we can do it for the border patrol building and do it for every other building there, why can't they do it for that property? I mean, that's my outlook on it, and that was Daryl's outlook. It's an extra customer, it's more money coming in, it's tax money coming in, it's another business coming into this town, and it seems to be a huge argument on whether we can do it or we can't do it. All I'm looking for is an answer.
Would you be able to get hold of Jeremy and have Jeremy look into it? And that way we have information?
Yeah.
That would be the first place we need to start.
Because when I came to that meeting with those other guys, their concern was the gallonage of water.
Right.
That was the only
And if you're
issue.
not doing that, and you're
But
doing the
you're
runoff
saying
now.
now you just want a residence there.
It's gonna be a business. You could charge me, you know, commercial, but not industrial. I'm gonna be putting the same amount of water into a tank as a single family home would, and my water consumption is gonna be the same as a single family home.
Alan, you have something you wanna?
I mean, the rate for the water, Andy, isn't based on how much you use, it's based on the type of, you know, what the property's being used for. And when I brought up the issue of the residential rate, when I looked at, you know, what you were doing, based on what the definition was of commercial or industrial use of water, it seemed to fit what you were doing because it does discuss processing. And, you know, because you were gonna do the canning and
I know, that's-
processing the
That's
syrup and
what-
everything.
Yeah, that's what what we
Which-
wanna do.
If you look at what the definition is of industrial, it says industrial facility shall mean any structure, use, or intended for use as a business enterprise for manufacturing, processing, or assembling any produce, commodity, or article. My interpretation of that was that that sounded like what you were doing, processing, so it would come under the industrial rate.
What's the commercial
Now-
definition?
Yeah, the other thing before you get to that is, are all these other sugar makers that are packaging product charged an industrial rate? I don't think so.
Well, we don't have any
Yeah, I was
other.
gonna say there's.
I was
no
gonna
other
say,
one
I've done
system.
the water bills, we had no other
On water,
maple
right.
producers.
Okay.
And I did talk to Kylie the other day, I do think we do need to come up with a different rate that would more fit what Andy's trying to do. And I'm not trying to discourage you here, Andy. I wanna support what you're doing, I'm just saying our rules, that's what the definition is, and
What's the
it seems to me
commercial
what you're doing,
definition?
but I think we need an agricultural rate, but that's not gonna,
But what, I guess I don't understand if I only have one flush and toilet and a couple of sinks, why I would be charged a commercial rate only because of what I'm doing in the facility, or an industrial rate. I guess if I was putting the 50 or 60,000 gallons of water a day back into your lagoon, and I was also taking 50 or 60,000 gallons of water out of your reservoir every day, well, yeah, I think you're not far off by saying that I would classify that as an industrial business. But if all I'm doing is flushing a toilet 4 times a day and washing my hands,
Well, you have to wash equipment and you have to do those kinds of things too. Does that runoff go into the field? Or it shouldn't? It's
I can
gonna
tell you-
have
The
contaminants
amount of
in
dishes
it.
he's gonna do is probably no more than what I'm gonna.
I'm not gonna
store
use
in
more
there.
water in that building for what I do for my business than what you use in your house during the day.
No, I'm not saying that, but in terms of
What's the
the
definition for
commercial aspects of it, you are doing more than.
I agree. I agree
Doing
that
a
it-
toilet and washing your hands.
I agree that it's a commercial business that I'm trying to put in,
Okay.
but I don't really agree that it would be an industrial
Industrial, right.
use.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
So the best thing that, like, you guys asked me in the meeting to come back and tell you what I'm gonna have there for gallonage and usage, it would be one toilet, 2 sinks, and probably a shower in that bathroom with the toilet. Not that it would ever get used, but if I'm gonna build a new building, I might as well put that in there.
Right,
So you're talking, you know,
but
100 gallons a day.
cleaning the equipment, where's that water come from?
Everything during sugaring gets cleaned with the water that you make.
Okay. But there's no chemicals added to it at all?
No.
So
Not that's-
it's a
not-
natural cleaning process that you can dump it out into the field?
Correct. Permeate water it cleans better than anything.
Okay.
It's mineral free.
That's fine, I don't sugar, so I don't know. That's why I'm asking the stupid questions.
Yeah, no.
Because that's what I'm good at.
The only soap that we use in the sugar house is the same thing that's in the dishwasher pod. That's the only, now, and we already talked about that, and I
Yeah.
give you the MSD sheets
Well, I think
for it.
moving forward, we gotta turn it over to Jeremy, right? And he has to get back to us with some costs. The town doesn't wanna pick up the costs to run the additional lines to your place.
Yeah,
That would be something that would have to fall out to you.
but why,
In order to get you
my
connected
question
up
is,
there.
why doesn't the town wanna invest into that? If I'm paying 15.
Because we're afraid of what the price is gonna be. Because coming under the road is gonna be expensive.
Well, let's wait and just see. We'll find out first and then we can talk.
But writing my tax bill to the town of Richford every year is gonna be expensive too.
I understand that.
I mean,
And-
how can, my point is, how can the town of Richford expect this town to get better and want new businesses to come here, but no one from the town is willing to invest one single dollar into a new business coming here?
No, I don't think that's a valid statement. I really don't.
I think we just need to find out what it's gonna cost.
Alan, can I see your book for a
I
second?
mean, is it gonna
I
be
wanna
the
read
30,000
definition.
that was thrown out there, or is it gonna be $5,000? I mean, that's where we need to find out, what is it gonna actually take to run the pipe down the road and across the road?
And is there, do you already own the land?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
I bought it because I was number one reason told that I could have town water and sewer on there by Darryl. And then it went from,
I got you.
Daryl's not technically a town official, or was a town
Yeah.
official.
Because my thing is.
well, I
you
know,
can turn
I
it-
was told to go talk to Darryl.
Okay,
So I went and talked to Darryl
okay.
and talked to him, and I said, do I need to come to a select board meeting? No, he says, I write the budget every year for the town. When the time comes, we'll figure it up, and it's something we could do next year. And then when I went to see him the second time, he goes, wow, we need to go and talk to the select board. Okay, no problem.
All right, so we're gonna get Jeremy on this. Michael's gonna get hold of him in the morning and see what it would take to run pipe down there and across the road. And last I had talked to Darryl about it, he didn't even know who to contact to bore across the road, so that's something that probably will take a few minutes to figure out. And then there's what kind of permits is involved with it as well.
Who we charge Blue Seal, are they under industrial?
Blue Sea
But I mean-
Industrial, K-Tex Industrial.
Okay.
They're the only two industrial
Rates.
Okay,
rates we have in Richford.
because the description of commercial shall mean building for use other than residential or industrial. So why can't we put agricultural underneath that?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, we
Sherry,
don't have an agricultural
Yeah.
rate.
I mean, if
right
you
now.
compare my business to Blue Seal,
Yeah,
I mean, I got 2 employees and myself. I mean, I'd like to grow that to 5, but I'm not 80 employees with, I mean,
right.
the amount of water and usage in that building in a day versus what I'm gonna do is, I bet you the deli at the Jolly store uses 6 times more water and sewage in a day than I'm gonna use.
Yeah. Yeah, we have, our grease trap is emptied monthly. So, yeah.
You just gotta figure it out. You gotta see what the numbers look like.
I get it,
And,
but
and we're not looking to chase you away. We wanna accommodate you.
We want to work
And-
with you for sure.
I'm trying to simplify it by just saying, okay, let's scrap the old idea of putting the 50,000 gallons a day. To me, it's getting too complicated with all that, and it doesn't really sound, in my opinion, like the town has the room for that in the lagoon.
We don't.
So when I went and talked to Michael, I mean, there's no state law saying that you can't discharge your permeate water into the ground like every other sugar maker does. I was just thinking, because I'm right there, why not put it in, and when I first told that to Darryl, he's like, oh, he said, we need the water. The extra water is great. And he said the little bit of sugar molecules that's in that water is good for the lagoon. So like right from day one, when I went and talked to him, he was basically saying that everything I wanted to do would benefit the town. So I moved forward with that plan to then find out that it's not a benefit, it's a hindrance. So that's why I've gone back to my guy and he was like, listen, let's just simplify this. All you want there is a toilet and running water, no different than a single family home. You know, that's easy for
Right.
him to engineer and move forward with, as long as I can get permission to get the hookup. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want, just keep emailing, you got my email,
Yep.
keep me posted. If I need to come back, I'll come back to another meeting and,
We can do that.
okay,
And you got your
Sounds
good.
driveway permit approved, right?
yes,
I just wanted to check and follow up on that.
yes,
So,
got it. Thank you. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Amy.
You too.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
I bet you're enthused about all of those things.
You know, it always is a really interesting conversation to listen to, so I kind of don't mind. Plus, it doesn't have anything to do with me, so I can sit back and not have skin in the game.
All right, Amy.
Ready? I'm gonna move over so you can see me, and I'll take my mask off so you can see me. Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Brewer. I'm the coordinator of the Franklin Grand Isle Tobacco Prevention Coalition. This summer, as every summer, we do a cigarette butt litter cleanup. And I sent a letter to Michael, and I think he shared it with you. I want to do that because it's a ridiculously silly thing to do, right? But I do it, because many of our Franklin Grand Isle communities are on waterways, the river and the lake, and cigarette butts are a pollutant, right? So it's a water quality thing. It's a beautification thing, right? When you're walking in parks, no one likes to see that, and it encourages more. And it's a really great way to also talk about quitting smoking. So as we're getting information out globally, we want people to feel supported in making quit attempts so that we're reducing the amount of litter to begin with. So I have all these conversations throughout the region. I do it every summer. And I'm always looking for ways, partners with communities, to find ways to start addressing that. And I'm a resource for you all. If you wanted to think about different ways to do that. I should move over one more so you can see me. There we go. So different ways to do that. Also, this year we had the after-school camp, the Notch It Up and the Leaps campers come out. So we had like 6 teams of students. We had 50 students come out and help clean up their community, which is a really great way for the kids to really see what their community is and what it can be, and for them to also try to become part of solutions, which is a really nice way to engage our young people. So that's what I did. I have copies of the letter if you wanted to see it. I think we picked up 6,664 cigarette butts, which is a lot. It's more than normal. We had 50 volunteers, which means we covered more of the community than normal.
That's great.
So yes, questions?
I saw the letter.
Yeah.
That when it came out, and my immediate thought was that, yes, this is a great thing, we should be participating with you. I don't want Richford to become
Ashford?
overly complicated in terms of the number of signs that are, don't smoke here, stand on your head here, cross the road over here, don't do that,
Yeah.
But informational signage, and certainly a non-smoking hotline or whatever
Yeah,
is
we
out
have
there.
it. Yeah.
Those things are great to promote. Our thing is also to prevent the litter. And we're going through the process, and it's not cigarette related totally, and I'm just wondering if you have any parts of these programs. We're redoing all of the trash receptacles in
Yeah.
public parks and the React Park and the playground area,
Town buildings.
town buildings, so that they'll be compliant with the state laws about recycling
Yeah.
and regular trash and those kinds of things, just like the cans down at the store there.
Nobody
And
uses them, right?
yeah, I know, but still, it's close. It's a lot closer than what we use. And would also like some of the butt towers, at the doors going into places. So if you can help us in any way to inform people, give them an opportunity to be cleaner,
Yep.
we are more than willing to help you with that.
I made a face, which is
Okay.
what you can't see when I've got this on, which is why I have to wear this more than not. So, one of the things, because we do cigarette butt litter cleanups throughout, including at the hospital where I work, we see that the cigarette butt receptacles do two things. A, they do not contain the cigarette
Okay.
butt litter. You find
Yeah.
litter all around. But two, they serve as a smoking area,
Mhm.
right? Because people will finish their cigarette near where they're going to toss it. So what happens is people start to gather there as they're, it's just kind of human
Sure,
behavior.
good to know.
So you don't necessarily want that in your parks and gathering spaces,
Mhm.
because you don't want those to become the de facto
Right.
smoking place.
I mean, we got them in some of the buildings anyway. There's one outside the door here.
Yeah, there's one down at the fire station.
Yeah, I know, so,
So
I mean,
other-
some of them are there, but I didn't consider that.
Yeah, it
becomes
is,
the-
it's
the butt
counterintuitive,
hut.
yeah. What you can do, and I also don't like a whole bunch of signs,
Mhm.
but what you can do is a couple different things. A, the amount of attention that you guys have paid to, I always call it the Fountain Park, but that's not what it's called, Main Street Park.
Main Street Park, yeah.
Is paying off. The painted benches, the attention to cleaning it up, as we've documented, I'm not seeing as many butts in that park because people are paying attention to it and keeping it clean and taking pride in it. And so another place, you know, as Overlook Park has been opened and the River Walk, they're still kind of underutilized and under resourced. So that you'll see in the corner, there's just chips and all kinds of litter kind of blowing in, you know, as the air moves those. So
There's no trash cans in there.
well, so that is part of it, right? So trash receptacles, absolutely, and then even getting the kids involved and revisioning, like, how would you design this to make it, you know, without much cost, to make it a really great gathering space? So all those kinds of steps, the trash receptacles, those help. And then I do like some signage, you know,
Oh, yeah.
if you're gonna have a park bench, you know, maybe it's, please, you know, either, you know, this is, please don't smoke, or, you know, please, you know,
What-
take care of trash or whatever.
What's the success quotient of other towns that have eliminated outdoor,
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
Enosburg, you
Yeah.
can't smoke in a park there?
Yep, Lincoln Park. I've seen a lot less, but, so we do pickups there as well,
Yeah.
just to help document it, and butt litter has gone down. And I can't tell you it's whether smoking has gone down or the town cleanup folks are really good at cleaning it up. I'd like to pretend that there's decrease in smoking there, that policy has been in place a long
I
time.
mean, we just have a lot, obviously you heard earlier, we have numerous enforcement issues. And
This
if
is
we
not
were
an-
to try to make outdoor spaces not smoking.
Yeah, I don't like to make it an enforcement issue. I do
Okay.
like to make it a communication issue. I don't want to battle with people. I want to support them in quitting, right?
Excellent.
So as the town does communications, it could be online, you could have, you know, cleaning up spaces, get kids involved. I really want to make it a positive thing and not, you know, I'm all for smoke-free parks. I think Overlook Park and Main Street Park should be smoke-free. There's very few butts down at the playground area. It's really well used by kids. There were almost no cigarette butts there. So I think you can create these
Sure.
spaces, and then, you know, communicate in a variety of ways, which I'm here to help. How to, you know, dispose of your litter properly and where to go for cessation. So those are my thoughts.
Okay.
Keep it positive, light,
Perfect.
helpful.
Well, I'm sure you'll be hearing from us in some capacity.
I hope so, because I am here to help, and I do have a
Great.
small amount of funding to kind of help with the communication or whatever, like,
Excellent.
okay?
Cool.
Well, thanks for coming in.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you.
I didn't make you talk about lawyers or
Lawyers
anything
or
unpleasant.
enforcement.
No,
Water problems.
no.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
you're welcome. Approval of minutes, we have 9/19, 10/3, and 10/10. Is there any corrections or discussion on any of those?
Not that I remember. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement.
Okay.
I just read them before the meeting and 919 is okay, in my opinion. I have a number of issues with the 10-3 minutes in terms of items that were identified that I don't think have moved forward.
Which ones? Was I at that one?
Yes, that was one we,
Okay.
that was where it was
That's one I was
used.
upset
I wasn't
about.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you weren't
the.
there.
Well, I'm just curious about, we talked about replacing a street lamp on Harlem,
Hmm.
okay? And I don't know if that made it into the minutes or not. There was mention of the meeting at the wood plant and a potential
Did I not put that one in
CDBG. What's that?
Did I not put that one in there?
No, you did.
Oh,
But what I'm saying is, it's kind of sketchy, like, how do we do it? It's a
Oh, okay.
suggestion from
Right,
Franklin
because that's what-
County
that's the
Industrial
next-
Development, and,
Right.
Right, to move
we're still
but it would be a
Yeah, I mean, that's a-
Richford loan,
Well, it's
or
through
Richford
grant.
grant.
It's a grant,
Right.
not a loan.
And that's all. I mean, it's just, we
We
talked
tabled
about,
them. That's
Yeah.
what we did, we tabled them, yes.
Right.
Now I'm on board, yes. I do
I
understand.
mean,
back.
I can,
Yes. My-
I'll make a motion to approve all 3 of these meetings. And you
I'll
did
second
make,
2 of them.
but you did make an adjustment to the 10:10 minutes, correct? Because you needed to note in there that Mr. Fletcher needed to abstain from that vote because you're on the,
I did that in that meeting, I didn't readjust.
oh, you did it at the meeting. Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't readjust, I just,
I got you.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that it reads that way because I
Yep.
didn't have that one with me.
Okay,
I'll
So-
second the 10-3 and the 10-10. I have to abstain from the 10.
I have to abstain from the 10-3,
10-3.
10-3, but I'll,
Abstain from the 9-19.
so should it be like individual ones?
yeah, let's go individual. So all those in favor of 9-19,
Aye.
aye?
Well, who's seconding the
I'll
919?
I'll second it. I was there. Opposed? Hearing none, motion pass.
Well, you have to abstain
I
though
abstained
because you
from that
weren't
one,
there.
9-19, yes.
And on for the 10-3, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I abstain from this vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. And approval for 10-10.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, motion passed. All right, next on the agenda, it says review mowing contract proposals. I think we have to do that in an executive.
Yes.
So then we'll go, bring that to the end, and we'll update from the town administrator.
Sure, so first thing, this is the policy for the electric sign that Kylie made up, so if you want to review it and sign it, that way we can start enforcing it,
Okay.
it'll be good.
I didn't bring a pen tonight. Thank you. That's an over.
Yeah, that place is gone.
Yep.
I get confused with the same bunch of them that say Gray Gables on them.
Yeah. Is there any intention to ever open that up again, or no?
Well, we're open.
You're open for business?
We're open.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've been letting people know. Yeah, we were opened, first part of this month.
Should have read it, Sherry.
Now, our select board meeting should be put on there, and so should planning, so DRB, well, the day of, it should be posted on their meeting, this meeting tonight. You know, select board meeting tonight at 6.
I don't run.
So we should be doing that.
Absolutely.
And
That was
way-
part of the big things at the streetscape meetings, that people don't know what's going on in town. They don't-
Exactly, just
you know,
that, you
and
know what I
that's-
mean?
Yeah.
We put voting in when taxes are due, and we put when voting's time for voting and stuff like that, we should be putting all of our meetings on there. I know it's on our website, but it's nice to post it and give somebody something different to read it too, not always the same sign.
I mean, I think you should take the calendar from the town website,
And
and
put it on.
then if it's on there, list it. And like a week in advance, so
Yeah.
people can remember what they're gonna do. There you go, sir.
Thank you. All right, so with that, so the other day, last Thursday, I had a site visit for the park and ride grant.
Okay.
That went very well. They said it was an ideal location for what they're looking for. They didn't get that many applicants either, so they could do the amount
Okay.
that we asked for. So
Nice.
That's good. So they said we should hear back end of November, early December.
Great.
So that was good. It was very exciting to listen to. Credit union lease, I sent it to them after our lawyer looked at it.
Okay.
And so they sent it back with a couple questions and everything, so we're working on, answering those questions and consulting with the lawyer to make sure everything's okay.
Okay.
So that's that.
How soon do they wanna start?
It really depends on if they can find a contractor. That's kind of what we've been working on recently.
Okay.
Everyone's all booked up. So
Well-
we've been trying to get quotes for that and then kind of see what we can do.
My thing is notifying the supervisory union to go away.
They're leaving, should be soon.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna move in.
They're all but ready from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna move, like they're supposed to
Right,
be
and
out
this
by
is
the end of the
gonna be a
month.
couple
you know.
months out, so they
Yeah.
still have at least a month or two.
Okay,
But they're supposed to be out by, end of month,
Just-
early.
just
Yeah.
don't want a conflict there, that's all.
Yep,
No,
no,
there's-
any given point in time, they said they could easily work from home, it's not a problem at all, Morgan said, so.
So then on the next one for the rail trail extension, because now we have that time waiver.
Yep,
We're working with Bethany on updating the reimbursement amounts. So they were last done in 2016.
Mhm.
So we're trying to get those updated. I sent her the land amounts, like what's on our file. So,
Those are the easement
Yeah.
fees.
yeah. So she's working on that, and then I have a letter. So once we get that situated, we have to do that first before we send a letter.
Okay.
So we know what,
Right.
everyone knows what they're getting themselves into.
right,
Yep.
And in addition to that, as another component of this rail trail thing, there was an excellent presentation at the TAC meeting last Thursday, from Missouri Valley Rail Trail Improvements. And there's significant signage that's gone out there. There's all kinds of interactive maps, interactive signage, different marketing strategies. And to be honest with you, I think we've been missing the boat on a lot of that. Okay? There's a new logo for the trail. I don't know if you've seen that. It's and they're using it in all their publications and on their signage. And we need to at least get a hold of Bethany or Greta. Greta's the one that gave the presentation. And I mean, they're very conscious about involving businesses in the area. Even the presentation has a picture of my old bar in Enosburg. Oops. But they have some great statistical analysis that there's 80,000 visitors a year. I believe 75% of them come in the summer, and I want to say 75% are locals, 20% are from away, non-locals, and the last 5% is non-locals that stay overnight. And that's the largest money generating segment, the 5%. And if towns go about it intelligently, they can really market a lot of inns, accommodations, whether they're Airbnbs or things like that. Any restaurants should get full play, certainly services. If we have anybody in town that wants to provide bicycle repairs, that can be way high on the list. because all of these other towns have them, you know, and they've replaced all of the kiosks throughout, and we have new signage down here at the trailhead on Troy Street, so, but the bottom line is, we need to follow up with them, because there's a lot of money, it's all grant money, it's free, we don't have to, it's not gonna cost us a penny, we just gotta get on board with.
So what are you saying, like making, like doing like a kiosk or some type of?
No, what we need to do is, discuss with them the business interface, and we have to, talk with them about their marketing efforts, and they will be partnering with the Lamoille Trail when it's completed. The two of them, they double up the bang for the buck, so to speak. But they have brochures, interactive brochures. You know, I'm not a technological guy, but whatever the QR codes or QSR codes or whatever,
On your phone.
they're on there. You
Scan
can scan them with your phone, and you get all the up-to-date information as of that day.
So you wanna bring that here, is what you're saying?
Yeah, well, we should have it, yeah, and we should have information available here at the town hall, because it can be a big part of what this community does. And we're not obligated to get the businesses to interface with them, but I didn't know until last Thursday that there was such a business program.
Right.
You
Just
know,
having
so-
the opportunity.
Exactly, so.
Okay.
Alright, so on your point about the CDBG grant,
Yeah.
so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the administrators of that grant to come here at a select board meeting to discuss that more. I was introduced to them, and then I sent an email, but there's no response yet, so hopefully.
Okay.
they
How
get-
long ago?
It was a Friday.
Okay, give it a week and follow up again.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
So that's where we're at with that, but if they come, they'll really clear up and kind of
okay.
give us a path forward for that. This Wednesday, for North Country again, there's gonna be a contractor, they have their own contractor coming to give an estimate on what the work that's gonna be needed there.
Okay.
And then I have on top of that, I have the construction permit, so I need that quote for that construction permit.
Okay.
So that kind of coincides with that. On top, again, with that, Franklin County Industrial Development, I was talking to Paul Remlard from there, and he was talking how every quarter or something, they put out a report to the state of different projects that are going on. And so I'm filling out one of those for the credit union coming. And the more shovel-ready projects are, the more likely to get funding.
Mhm.
So that could be a funding source potentially
Okay.
for us for that. That might help a lot if we can do that. So we can get pretty high on that priority list if we're ready to
Good.
For right
do it.
growth, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So working on that one as well. And then, so there's a grant, talked to you about this a little bit individually for, it's called the Safe Walk to Schools grant. They're a program from the state that helps, get kids to be more, active in walking to school, or like having the opportunity to get to school. So Greta and I've always talked about how elementary schools are very disconnected from that.
Yep.
So they have a grant out that we're looking to do she suggested doing like a scoping study to get a sidewalk up to the elementary school from 105 and make a crosswalk and lights
Okay.
as well.
I would suggest also at the same time, if there's money out there at the backside going down towards Hardwood Hill, because
Yep.
a lot of kids use that.
That was the alternative if we couldn't do like a 105.
Yeah.
That was gonna be the other way.
Are there any preclusions that go back to the state? That there was some agreement a number of years ago when they would, and you're familiar with it, I think, aren't you, Alan, about when they improved the road there and they built the school down there, and they said, we can't have a public sidewalk on the state highway? There was something about that I remember hearing as
Right, Greta was saying that
potential.
she believes that has changed.
Yeah,
that.
Greta thinks that it can be done.
Excellent, well, I'm all for it, I think it's great.
That's why we have the alternative, like maybe if that doesn't work, you have the Hardwood Hill side where you could maybe develop one to go at the back side of the school.
I'm just saying, be careful, there might be
Right.
some document lurking in the deep archives that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
And then, so the LED light was posted on that back telephone pole here to point at the post office.
Yep.
For the credit unions, they asked for more lighting back there, so it looks pretty bright to me. And Vermont Co-op said they can readjust the light as needed if they wanna have it in a more direct area, so.
Okay,
That was good.
good,
Yeah, and that is all. Actually, I think I got the highway report as well.
okay.
Well, Wally texted me, so we can move into that if you want.
Yeah, that's next on the list.
Yeah. So, sorry, so this is for the highway report. Wally said, they finished up the Maple Street project they did for like the stone line. As you see, there's more stones going through there
Yes.
to help with runoff. And they finished up paving Stevens Mill Slide Road, or they did some paving through there.
Mhm.
And then Jason's been having the crew work on winterizing the trucks and getting winter sand, so that's their update for that.
Building reports.
The library has a leaky roof. I have, someone taking a look at it. They're gonna try to be there for Wednesday, if not, it'll be Saturday. She called me on Friday to tell me about it. It's leaking in 3 different locations. I'm really thinking it's probably just flashing. The roof looks fine, but I think it's probably flashing somewhere.
Okay,
That water's getting through probably by a chimney or something, because it's going into 3 different directions.
okay.
So once that's done, then we'll have to have the repairs on the inside, but at that point, I can talk to the insurance and see if that's something to qualify for underneath that, for the inside. Besides that, still waiting for feedback on removal of stone.
Oh,
So, so besides that, I'm thinking we're pretty set with everything else.
okay.
Emergency services roof,
That's just, gotta go out for bid.
I understand that.
Yep.
Did we,
It's not leaking, it's not in the newspaper yet.
oh, okay, I'm just
Yeah.
looking to follow up, sorry.
It's not-
I know we got a lot of leaky roofs around
Okay.
here.
No, it's not leaking, it's been fixed, inside's been fixed. It should be good till spring, and then we'll put it out for bid in the spring, because no one's gonna do it in the winter time. Anyway, all the prices keep changing drastically in one direction or another, depending on what
Sure,
month it is.
no, I
So
understand, I'm just,
closer to spring, it'll go out for bid, we'll put it in the newspaper, so it goes out for
I
bid.
look for that big icicle hanging down over the fire trucks. It's all good, I didn't mean to call you out on it.
Generators.
Just-
The generators, they had called me and said they had come to town last week
Mhm.
to service Brookfield. And the elementary school, they looked at it, really didn't find anything wrong with it, but they got another phone call, it's still having an issue, so they came back, they called me.
Mhm.
And I said, well, if you're in town and you're already working on that one, service it, service everything.
Yeah,
Get it on a routine, I want everything serviced the same month, that way we don't have to worry about it. Do this one, get done, do that one, get done. So both the water plant, down on Willow Street, the fire station, all that, they're supposed to be servicing all at the same time.
okay.
So that way we don't have to worry about selling them a yearly altogether. I think that's it.
Before you,
Yes.
you mentioned the interior repairs at the library, you would talk to the insurance people about?
I will, I have,
But talk to them about the roof too.
I will. I
Oh,
have to
okay.
find out what the problem is first.
Yeah, no, I understand, I'm just saying that if the
Most of the
water's coming
time-
in, it's gotta be insured.
Right, the water's coming in, it's been insured, but it's probably gonna be the same thing as what the fire station was. It's an older roof and. but that
No, it was done
When was that roof
6 years ago?
done? The roof was done 6 years ago?
At the library, yeah, Bob
Okay.
Peters
No,
did it.
it wasn't 6 years.
It wasn't real long ago.
Like 3 years ago. I
No,
can't
no,
remember.
no, no. Yeah, oh, you're saying it's more recent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could be right. Last term when I was on is.
Wasn't the
when I
roof
did
was
it.
done before the painting was done over there, right? It was before my time.
I can't remember because,
There's gotta be some record of it somewhere, correct?
Yeah,
So-
because
Yeah.
it wasn't done when I was on select
No,
board,
but
and
it's-
I've been
it's
on
been-
since 5 years.
yeah, like I said, I think it was done 6 years ago.
Okay,
Because I know they
So
were,
that would still be
they were
qualified
pulling
with
out,
it.
some of the underlining in the back was old tin signs from Richford Savings under the old roof, so.
okay. So I know the roof looks fine, but, so he's gonna get up there, he's gonna take a look, he's gonna see what's going on, he's gonna let me know. And I told him where it's leaking, make sure you get done, fix it so it's not leaking, until we can figure out what needs to be done from that point.
Yeah, but it's pretty
So if it's
recent.
still, that way it's probably some type of warranty, if it's not caulking. And I'm thinking it's probably caulking around the chimney, where the flash is.
We hope.
Okay.
Yes, no, I'm done, right?
All right, water and sewer, I know that they replaced a fire hydrant up near the train station, and they have replaced the shut-off down on 50 Fire Street, which we still need to figure out what we're gonna do with that. That needs to, we talked to you, Michael, about it a while back, about finding, you know, things that we need to do. What can we do with the building if it's Habitat for Humanity, I think was one of the things.
Yeah, I've never heard from them. I tried so many times with them.
Okay.
I have.
There was another organization that was brought up, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was Wally that brought it up.
Well, he brought up Habitat for Humanity.
But there was another
There's
one,
another one.
someone brought it up at the meeting. I think we need to look back and find out.
Mhm. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Community something.
Well, yeah, could be.
So,
I was gonna say, in addition to that, we were talking about it last week, John and myself and Michael, about, we need to get an estimate of what a demolition would be, just so that we have a point of comparison.
yeah, but I think we also need to go in and have someone inspect it to see how bad it is, because I remember that.
Take a look at it.
Yeah, I remember walking in that day and you couldn't see the walls, you couldn't, you know.
Right.
But the floor, the structure of the floor felt good underneath my feet, but as far as that,
No, I've been through the building,
you have been?
yeah, and I just think that we need to operate from an intelligent position. I mean, we own the building.
Well, yeah,
No one's gonna buy it as is.
Is it gonna cost more to put it up, you know, fix it up, or have someone come in and take it over and fix
I
it?
got no idea.
Yeah,
That's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
we need to determine demolition costs, and if there's any, not liens on the property, because we own it, but is there hazardous materials there? It's gonna have to be evaluated. I'm not looking to get a permit or do the work and then ask for a permit after the fact, because that can get real ugly. Right, John?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, if you could check in, see if that's something that at least, you know, maybe they come up and say, yeah, there's nothing we can do, and you know, move forward with it. But I think we need to also get the water shut off for the season.
Oh,
Well,
definitely.
they replaced the water stop, right?
They did.
Or the curb stop.
I believe it's off, but do we have a plumber go in and drain the lines? Yes.
I would.
We
Yes.
should, because you don't want it to be
So I think that's-
broken toilets and
Right,
stuff.
so we need to do that, and we'll basically winterize it,
Yeah.
so.
Nick's coming to do the playground soon,
Yep.
if he hasn't already. If, when you see him, you just wanna add him to that list or mention it tomorrow.
Yep, that'd be good. The other, they have started talk of the budget for water and sewer.
Yep.
It started, so I believe there's another meeting coming up Wednesday, is it? Or am I mistaken?
It should be Wednesday, I believe.
Wednesday.
That's what,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Kylie.
yeah, that's what I thought, it was Wednesday.
So you definitely gonna wanna have
After
Jeremy
tomorrow,
go
my
down.
schedule gets a lot better, so.
So you definitely gonna wanna have Jeremy go down and look at the project and see, and get some quotes and prices if you guys are doing the budget now.
Yeah, definitely.
To get him down there sooner than later.
Right, yeah.
Tell them this is a priority, basically, so.
Yeah.
Alan, do you have anything for water and sewer? Okay.
I do.
What do you have?
The letter on inappropriate water usage that was sent
To Mr. St. Pierre?
to St. Peter's. And I've seen that letter sitting on the table with the bills for months and months and months, and they never responded to that letter. What are our next steps?
Good question. I don't know. What do we do? Do we send it out? Mark is a resident of Berkshire, but he owns property in town. Do we send out a letter and have Was it certified when it went out? Does anyone know?
I think it was just mailed.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe we need to certify a letter,
certified one.
send it out, and then from there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because if we're not pushing, they're never gonna
Right,
look to
no, no, and they're
reimburse
gonna,
us.
yeah, yeah. So,
And just because you raised the issue of budget meetings, we as a board should start to think, we're gonna start them in November, we're gonna do them in
I think-
December, we're gonna do them
I think Kylie's looking at trying to get the water and sewer out of the way, then we're gonna start on it.
Yeah.
in, okay?
That's what she has time for, from my understanding.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, good.
all right. Parks, playground, cemeteries report?
Everything's pretty good, we're winterizing.
Okay.
Public toilets are going back this week, I think, or next week. We paid for them through October anyway. The one in Davis Park is now destroyed, laying on its side with doors off and all kinds of stuff.
What?
The portable toilet.
Oh,
Was it because like the windstorm we had, or?
No, it was like a
Vandalized.
windstorm of children.
Ah,
They also found a way to put a picnic table halfway up the back stairs. The picnic table is now broken, there's no seating on one side of it. It's basically been pushed off of the steps.
was it a older picnic table,
No.
newer picnic table?
They're all in about the same condition down there now.
I'd have to look
I
at it.
think it was the one that was under
The roof used to be.
the pond hut,
Okay. It was, yeah.
you know, and, but the slats are broken off of it. There's also some slats broken off some of the benches in the Main Street Park. And, we just got to pass the word along. The town crew came and picked up all of the, white picnic tables that were there for Harvest Fest, and I guess they went back to the playground.
Yeah.
But they need to just pick up this other one that's
Yeah.
not junk yet, but it will be pretty soon if it's left there. And then we gotta think about date for installing skating rinks and making adjustments to the shed, so for the warming hut.
I was gonna suggest it'd be better probably to get that out of the way sooner than later, before the frost really sets in.
Mhm. I agree.
It'd be
I can
that and
follow up on it.
And the plastic, if it's warmer, I'm sure the plastic wouldn't be so brittle to get it
Right.
in.
Skating rink. As you heard me mention to Amy, that we're looking at new trash receptacles.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll happen now, there's so many supply issues, we can't get them.
You wouldn't do
But
it
we'll
till
certainly budget them for,
next spring.
you know, open up in the spring. And also, I'm still having a hell of a time finding a fountain painter. So it's a pretty specialized industry, like, you know, slate roofs like on my house. It's,
Yes, Sam.
they can do it, yeah, but it's, last time they did it, and if anybody has other information, I may be wrong, that they took it out of here. They took it away somewhere.
It was busted, it was broke, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, it was broken then.
It was
Okay.
when it got hit, it was in the middle of the street, they took it
Yeah.
apart and re-welded it and sandblasted, if I recall. I was just a kid when this happened.
It was, I can look at the plaque on the side, it was Neil Lovell that took care of it.
But then after that, the town had someone paint it. I don't know who it was, it's been years ago. But that was after it came back and, you know, people thrown stones and chipped off the paint
Yep.
in places. Well, Neil had some enamel touch-up that came with the company when they redid it over.
Okay.
Well, the person, whoever the town hired, scraped the paint off from it instead of just touching it up. So it, you know, it never looked as good as it did when it was first factory redone.
Well, we're looking to bring it back to all of its glory, okay? And I'll get it done.
And the post lights up there?
That's my next item, if I could, please. We haven't received the bill or I think we have, but it hasn't been paid yet.
We got a couple different ones, so there might be.
Paid this week.
No, I'm just saying we got a couple invoices from them.
I asked about it 2 weeks ago, and there was nothing in the packet, and the town clerk said she probably held it out, but then there was nothing in last week, and she wasn't here when I was in to sign the bills, and, which is fine.
Yeah, I can ask her. We had a couple, because they get sent to the select board email, those
Okay.
invoices, so I know there was a couple that were sent in there.
Because they need to go over to her,
Right.
because we gotta see what kind of money we got left in the budget to make the Main Street repairs. They need some ground boxes, the lamps need to be adjusted. We tried to do it, change the timer and do those kinds of things on our own, and probably made it worse. Who knows, they still don't work.
So the Main Street part?
Main Street Park. They have a bid already to do the other maintenance work. It does not include the lamps, so we need to get them added into their past cost estimates, okay? And as far as, there's some controversy about 4 trees on the backside.
Yeah, someone brought it to my attention, the bigger tree was a donation from O'Reilly's.
Yes.
Yes, what was their name?
That's the one in the
Pete?
middle of
Was
the
it
park.
Pete?
Pete and Lois
Lois.
O'Reilly.
Yeah. And it was donated from them, and I don't understand the story behind it, but it was a donation from them.
And beautification was heavily involved in that.
Yes, and there was money raised to have a professional tree mover come in and move it.
I remember when they came into town, I was younger, but yeah. So that's something that the board probably should take in consideration.
Yeah, I don't think that tree's doing fine, and to think that we would take it down because we can't put Christmas lights on it is unacceptable.
Ridiculous.
I agree.
Okay, now, I've also been told there's 4 half-dead, some type of conifer, I don't know, cedar, pine, whatever.
I don't notice
I'll-
anything dead over there.
Well, they're not dead, they're dead about halfway up. You could trim off all the lower branches,
So basically, they need to be pruned.
I think, but the people from the Christmas Light Committee want one of them gone.
Yeah.
And the Recreation Committee has asked about taking one of them down. I can't see the difference between the 4 of them. We're not gonna take down the tree in the middle of the park that was donated, and it's in fine shape. So,
Any fir tree like that, usually the bigger they get, the lower branches
branches.
Right.
die out. And
I
they
agree.
They just need to be pruned.
they could look really good. And if the Christmas Lighting Committee has an issue with it, they could put the bare trunks, make them candy canes or whatever, because it's, if you trim all those lower branches, it's fine.
Is it time to prune right now, right? And they go
Yeah.
dormant.
Yeah,
So maybe whoever gets the mowing contract to prune those trees, we'd have it added in a little bit.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Okay. All right,
And then we'll go from there and see if it was even. Okay.
all right. That it, Tim?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. Do we have any other business that we need to discuss?
When we go into executive session, I want to talk about the quotes I got for fuel oil for this
So
year.
are we going to award a fuel
Yes.
contract? So adding for other business, going into
An
a executive session, we are
When
going to
go
come
into
out,
it, we'll have a decision.
we'll have a
yes.
decision for mowing and for fuel.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
I'm sorry, one other,
you said it was a,
okay, it can stay, I mean, it's just costing the town money.
okay.
See it, no, it's all right, that's okay.
All right,
Let's go into, I'd make a motion to go into executive session to discuss
Thank you.
contracts. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
do I get a second?
Second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We're now in executive. All right, we made a motion to come out of executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're out. We've discussed two bids for the mowing contract for the town of Richford. Is there a motion made to, do we have to make, yeah, we're gonna make a motion to?
Yes,
All right, so
he made the motion.
he can't, he said he
I
would,
can't.
yeah, he's going,
Oh, we're
Gotta
going to fuel
recruit-
contract for,
Tim's
or, oh,
recusing.
that's right, that's right.
I'm gonna.
I'll make a motion to go with Donald and Giron
Yeah,
for our mowing contract.
okay, I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm recusing myself from that vote.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Now, the second item that was brought up is fuel services. We have 3 bids for that. SB Collins, Blue Ins, and Fred's. Sherry, you're recusing
I
yourself?
recuse myself from
Okay.
the vote because I affiliated with S. Collins.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we sign a fuel contract with SB Collins,
Okay,
delivering as per Clarence Brown.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Do I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Vote with your feet.